Hello, everyone. My name is Bell, and I am the host of the CEO Corner. And as always, I have an opportunity to bring to you guys some fabulous female entrepreneurs that are doing some really great things in their homes, in their families, in their communities, in their business. So, very excited to be able to introduce to you our next guest. She is Yolanda K Churchwell. She's a best-selling author, a speaker, and founder of the Business Alliance Group LLC, also known as The Bag. She's used her professional skill set to create a company that helps women entrepreneurs take the hassle out of their hustle so that they can make more money and have more free time. She provides coaching and support to service-based businesses to streamline their operations for maximum profitability. So, with that, welcome to the stage with me, Yolanda K Churchwell.
Hi, Tiffany.
Hello. So glad to have you on today. Very glad. And you're beautiful as always. I was thinking that earlier before we started out, you were, typing some of the info in for us. I was like, man, she is so pretty.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Thank
So,
you.
tell us a little bit about Yolanda when she is not on the clock, when you're not working in the bag, when you're not helping people to increase their revenue, right? I'd love for people to kind of get a snapshot of what life looks like for you, when you're not on the clock.
When I'm not on the clock, well, I'm still always encouraging people because I believe that's my spiritual gift. So I'm always doing something to help somebody. But when I'm not on the clock, I love to shop. I love to travel. I love to just do little day outings. Yesterday, for example, my mother and I and my best friend and her mom, we went to a little botanical garden. They were having a pop up shop, and one of my cousins, who's a businesswoman, she was speaking, and so it was just a nice little Sunday afternoon. So I just like to get away and do stuff, just have a little fun.
All right, very good. So where are you located?
So I am in Sandusky, Ohio, better known as the home of Cedar Point, right off of Lake Erie, about an hour west of Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay, all right. I spent a little bit of time in Ohio several years ago, 27 years ago exactly. Um, my
Okay,
oldest
something good happened if you know exactly to the date.
Oh, yes. My oldest son was born in Ohio. I was in the
Oh,
military for a little bit, and so we were stationed at Wright Patterson Air Force Base, and that is where my Breon was born. So I just remember a very cold winter. Very
well, it's
cold.
a small world because I went to Wright State University, class of 1997.
All right.
And so same place, same area. Yes.
Yes. Very good. And so about there around the same, very similar time period. Maybe about a year after I left there is when you were graduating. But I'm assuming you were there at least probably while I was when I first arrived. You were probably there. All right.
Yeah, I was
So
there from the fall of 93 into the spring of 97. Yeah.
okay, all right. Yes. All right. Well,
Yeah.
definitely a small world. So
Yes, indeed.
So tell me just a little bit about your business. I know you said you help women to take the hassle out of the hustle. Tell me exactly what does that mean?
Okay, so what that means is when you've been in business for a little while and you know what it is that you do, you have a great product or a great service, and you're starting to grow. And as you grow, you're going to feel this tug of war. You feel a tug of war between the part of your business that you love, your talent, what it is you do,
Uh huh.
and
Uh
the
huh.
business of doing business, all that stuff behind the scenes that some people it just don't agree with them. The accounting, the computers, all of that.
Uh
So
huh.
what I do is I come in and create a back end solution so that some of those things on the back end can take better care of themselves and don't require so much of your attention. It allows you to focus on the highest revenue generating task in your business.
Mhm.
So you end up spending less time working, but you end up making more money because you're able to take advantage of opportunities. I like to say rivers of opportunity and streams of income as they arise because you're not busy running around putting out fires and being busy. You're being productive. You're operating like a Fortune 100 CEO.
Okay, all right. So sounds like you're good at creating systems.
Yes, so I help you to create standard operating procedures and
Okay.
systems, and
Okay.
I also help you to build a team. But whether you're a solopreneur or you have a team, Once you know what it is that you do and you have processes and systems that will support you, it just will help you to work more efficiently and more effectively in what you do. And most of the time, what happens, because I work with a lot of solopreneurs, is that once we get that in place, then they do need to hire a team. They do need to build a team because their business is growing. But before, they just didn't have that structure, that foundation that allowed them to grow. Because, and I know, because that's what happened to me in my past business. I didn't have a foundation. And so people think the worst thing is to go out of business because you don't have customers. The worst thing is to go out of business because you can't support your growth.
Oh wow. Oh wow. So that sounds like you were tremendously successful in your previous business, right? Okay, very
Yeah.
good. So now I'm just being nosy when I asked this. You said your previous business. Tell us a little bit about what it was. Like, what exactly did you
Okay.
do prior, and then how did that connect to where you're at now?
Okay. So I had a retail clothing store.
Okay.
It was a store with dress clothes because I'm a preacher kid. So it was dress clothes, Sunday go to meeting.
Well,
And
you
I
said you like to
specialized,
shop. I just need to make sure you guys heard that earlier. She did say she enjoyed shopping.
I figured I might as well make some money doing it. So I did plus size for women, big and tall for men. So it was stuff people couldn't normally get. And so I had plans in place in case it failed, but it just seemed to grow overnight. I had a brick and mortar store, I had an online store, I did vendor events, I did private shopping, I was a personal shopper for people. It just grew so fast. And what happened is that I started to feel frustrated and overwhelmed
Mhm.
because it was that tug of war between what I like to do, working with the customers, and the stuff on the back end. I was overwhelmed because the sales taxes and the all of the taxes and the bookkeeping was getting too much for me to handle.
Mhm.
Because mind you, I still have my 9 to 5 on top of this, and
Okay.
so it was too much. And then I'm a firm believer. I don't like anybody to look like me. I'm one of those people when you say where'd you get that, I say I don't remember because I'm not going to tell you where I shop. And so my customers, I never ordered more than two of something, and even if I ordered two, it was in completely different colors or patterns. So I say all of that because my order and fulfillment process was so it took so much to keep up with it, and I
Okay.
didn't have a system in place to support my orders and my fulfillments. If I had had a system in place for to help with the automation and stuff, it would have made things so much easier. So I like to say when I help women get dressed, I start with a girdle. I start with a strong foundation so that their clothes they so
Sorry.
you know because you don't need that cottage cheese, you don't need them ripples and dimples. You
Got
just
you.
need
You want
the you
smooth
just
sailing.
you want
You
the
want
curves to be flattered, not the you don't need all the definition. We don't need that image. And so I like to say I didn't have a girdle for my business.
okay. Okay.
I didn't have a foundation. And so it was growing so fast, and I wasn't able to give people the same level of customer service. I wasn't able to keep up with the stuff on the back end, like my taxes, my orders, and stuff. And so, me being me and having the work ethic that I have, if you're not going to do it right, don't do it.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so after I sat down and I thought about it and I prayed on it and I said, God, tell me what I did wrong because I don't want to do that again. I don't want to be afraid to start a new business. And that's where I saw I had plans in place if this didn't work, if that didn't work, but I never had a plan in case it succeeded. And so that's
Interesting.
what I do. I help entrepreneurs create their plan for success.
Okay. Oh, I love that. I do remember years ago hearing a message by Bishop Jakes, and it struck me by surprise because the message was centered around not being prepared for success. And I think like it's very common for us to have all of the what if scenarios in our head for issues that would pop up that we consider traditional routes of failure, but never expecting to fall forward into
Hmm.
failure based on being successful. Like,
Hmm.
again, it's a good, I guess, a good issue to have to a certain extent. I would much rather just know, at the end of the day, you knew that you had a good product, right? You know for sure that you provided excellent service. The things that me as a potential client, the things that I want to have in place sound like you had in place. It's just that being able to keep up with it. And so, you mentioned automations earlier. Now coming from like with the retail background, how well did you do transitioning and being able to just kind of, I guess, what's the word? I am fairly new to automations. It's something that I've just, I'm a little on the dangerous. What's that saying? You know, I know just enough to be dangerous. That is something that automations.
Well,
And with that, go ahead,
when
go
I
ahead.
tell you that I was praying at that point in time for my purpose because um, I had an event planning business. I did that for 15 years, and then I had the store for 4 years. And I just felt like, God, whatever I do next, I wanted to bring fulfillment to your kingdom. I want to do what it is. You put me, there's a reason you put me on earth at this point in time in my life. What is that reason? What is it that you want me to do? And I can see now I had to go through what I went through with the store because it helped me to realize that lesson. But when I look at all of my education, my background is accounting and computer information systems. I've always loved working in retail because I love customer service. Um, I feel like my spiritual gift is encouraging people. So I feel like when you take all of that stuff and put it together, you get the business assistance group. You get Yolanda, the system solutionist. I help you to create a back end solution so that you can focus on what it is you do so that your company can do something new. And that's to grow and scale to a whole new level.
Okay, man, I love that. Now I got to tell you, the first thing comes to mind, another thought that comes to mind. Now let me back up. Let me just kind of catch the guest up. So Yolanda, my initial introduction to Yolanda is really through Success Women's Conference. She is one of our fierce and focused partners, and so we meet a couple of times a month on a Tuesday evening, and like, Yolanda, I feel like you're a hidden gem. Like she sits back quietly, and every now and then drops just a small, what you expect to be a nugget that's really a bombshell when it comes to. But
Oh.
I wonder, how many people are really familiar with the fact that you know, when it comes to automations, I think it's something that we all need. And
Mm-hmm.
I've heard it said multiple times, if it's something that you do more than 3 times a month or 3 times a week, then that means it's probably something that can be automated. And so with that, how difficult do you think that how do you recognize whether or not something can be automated, and then when it comes to bringing on, kind of getting your wrapping your client's mind around doing something a new way, again, trusting technology, just all of that, I imagine, is a challenge at times for some of the people that you bring on board.
Well, I will say, first of all, it's a misconception that everything has to be computerized.
Okay.
And I'm going to use an example. There was this older gentleman. He's an accountant, and he's a firm believer in pen and paper. He doesn't even own a computer. He does pen and paper, his calculator, and he wanted to pass his business on to his son. But his son is, he's that younger generation. It's all about computers. And so I had met him at a networking event, and he was talking about how, it's going to be a shame because his son wasn't going to take it. And I said, give me 6 months and I can make you both happy. And so what I did is I went in, again, the basics are processes. I took everything that he was doing on pen and paper with pen and paper, and I created the processes. I showed him where he was doing things, how he was doing things. Sometimes part of automation is not necessarily that it has to be computerized, but if that's something that you're going to do over and over, how about you do it over and over at the same time? How about when your mind is already in that mindset, you keep doing it right then instead of doing this and then doing it and then doing this and then do it. Just stay right there and get it done. And so I taught him how to put what he does into processes. We created processes. So then the second part of that was then I sat down with his son.
Pause. Before you move to the second part, I don't know if you can see in my head, I'm trying to wrap my head around. Give me an example of something that he was doing that was a stop and go, to where that
Okay.
not necessarily, where he could have just finished the whole process out from in one step.
Okay. So a lot of what he would do would be he would take what his clients were giving them and they would have it written down as they did it. And so then he's moving it over into the accounting system. But what about if you take that and you break it into categories? And if you have certain types of expenses, you break them into those categories and you do all of those expenses in that journal at one time.
Got it. All
You
right.
don't have to do it in chronological like they did it. If you sort it up front and then you do it, it's so much easier because your mind stays in that mindset.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So then I took those processes and I introduced his son to computer systems and stuff that took those processes and automated them. I
Okay.
am happy to say that it took me 4 months instead of 6, and his son is now taking over the business. They actually are working side by side right now. And the dad still uses paper and pencil, and the son uses computer, and the son is getting to know the clients and building up his own
The
reputation
rapport,
so that
yeah.
when his father decides to retire, people will stay there with him. So again, 8 out of 10, they say 8 out of 10 businesses fail. What they fail to tell you is that's between years 2 and 5. Or in this case, this man has been in business for almost 30 years. It's not because you don't have a good product or a good service. It's because you don't have the processes and the systems to support your success. He thought he was going to have to go out of business just because he didn't have the processes and the systems. Once we got the processes in place, then it was easy to say, okay, these are the systems that your son would want to use. Let's get them set up. Let's get them working.
Okay, all right. So basically, he didn't have a good succession plan, and that was the details of being able to, take, the handwritten system and setting up an automation, but something that could be, a happy for both ends as far as him and his son. So very good, very
Yeah,
good.
that I mean that's what systemization is all about. It's actually the first step because a lot of people don't realize it. When you start a business, you should always be positioning that business for you to sell it. And so he was not positioning that business to be sold or to be passed on. Like you said, he didn't have a succession plan. So you want to make sure that your business is in the best place because at some point in time, you are going to want to retire. You are going to want to walk away. You may just want to be a full time vacationer, but you have to have it in a place where you can do that comfortably.
Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. So you also said that you have a background, an accounting background, right?
Mhm.
And so I just find, again, a very interesting mix as I kind of examine the different things that you're involved with. Automation and accounting goes well, it definitely goes well together. Goes It seems to pair well together, in my opinion. Um, I think that, but typically when I meet accountants, most accountants are not very outgoing. They're very quiet. Um, not not very outgoing in the least bit. That's just been my experience. Personality wise, how would you describe yourself? Again, I love for the audience to kind of get a sneak peek of what Yolanda or any guest that comes on the show, when they're not, when they're not about the business, like, the real Yolanda, when she takes off her makeup and takes off her jewelry at the end of the day. Tell us a little bit about your personality.
I am the most extroverted introvert you will meet. When the lights are on, I can do it all day long. But if I don't take that time for myself and recharge, I'm not always the best, kindest, nicest, sweetest person. I am a homebody. I love to read. I love to watch TV. I am the creator of the saying. I'm not by myself. I'm with myself. I'm some of the best company that you could ever have. That's why you want me to come. But I'm with myself. I go to the movies with myself. I eat with myself. I don't have no problem being with me.
Okay. All right. I love it. I need you to say it one more time, but slow it down for me. That was really good. I mean, it really was really good because I feel like that, to me, that's a beautiful affirmation. That's something that we
Yeah,
all,
yeah.
in my opinion, should be able to do, to be with ourselves and be happy with it. But again, so serious. I want you to say it again just a little slower because I want
Okay,
people in the
I'm
audience.
sorry. I do talk a little bit fast. So I don't say that I'm by myself. I'm with myself. Having gone off to college and built my career and stuff, a lot of times I lived away from my family. So I'm very comfortable being with myself. I'm not by myself because you people invite me places and I'm that person. I want the invitation. Probably not gonna come. But I really do want the invitation. I'll go sometime, but I'm the person that leaves early. But I'm with myself, and I'm some of the best company that I could ever have. That's why people invite me places. But sometimes I just want to be with me.
Okay. Oh, I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. So, I want to take this portion of the show, and we're going to transition just a little bit towards and I want to talk about the book. So, we for the past, probably at this point, 6, 8, maybe 9 weeks, I've had different people on the show for an upcoming journal that we have that's called Affirmations of a CEO on the Move. And Yolanda is one of those, is one of our authors. And so, again, just like I said earlier, when she was explaining her that one, in my mind, that sounds like a beautiful affirmation, that she is perfectly okay being with herself. That is not necessarily, she doesn't call herself, she doesn't excuse me, she does not say that she's by herself, but she's actually with herself, and she's so comfortable being in her own skin. And I think that's a beautiful thing, especially just as women. We really kind of depend on the opinions of other people to provide the security that we need in order for us to thrive in life. And, for a woman to be okay with herself, by herself, no matter how you label that, Yolanda said, hey, she's quite confident in who she is and whose she is. And I think that's probably
Hmm.
a major part of why she comes off as being so strong and so confident. But a big part of, again, the CEO on the, excuse me, affirmations of a CEO on the move, as well as the show, the CEO Corner, is to be able to introduce to you to women just like Yolanda who are doing really great things. And so I want to just, again, we're going to transition, just talk for a few minutes here about your affirmation, Yolanda. I want you to read the affirmation out loud to our audience, and then, and I'm going to pull away, and it's just going to be you here for a moment. I want you to speak directly to the young lady that you would imagine would need the encouragement that you're offering through your affirmation, that's going to be a part of our upcoming book.
Okay. So my present season may not feel good, but God is going to work it out for my good, and my joy will come in the morning. See, sometimes when you go through things in life, it doesn't always feel good. Even God has to chastise us sometimes. He has to say, don't do that. Don't do that like that. Don't do that like that. But I spend a lot of time around old people. I have an old soul in addition to being, somebody who's okay with themselves. And so my grandfather and them used to always say, some of the best learning you can get is when you learn it from other people's misgivings, other people's mistakes. You don't have to go through everything on your own. So some of the things that I like to do is to help you in your business so that you don't have to make all of those mistakes on your own. I want to share some of the tips with you. But even more as a person, I know that everything that is for me won't always feel good. There has to be some sorrow in order for you to be able to measure joy and to know what joy is. And so I want you to know that there's going to be days, as especially as a CEO, there's going to be days where you feel like it's really hard. And what you're going through, you don't always have to look like what you're going through. And sometimes it's hard and you don't know if you're going to push through another day. Some days you want to quit. And so at those times, that's where you have to either learn a lesson from somebody else, or as I like to say, and I don't have mine with me right here, but you need to have your own brag book. That's where I keep all of the affirmations that I like. That's where I keep the testimonials that clients have given me. That's where I keep my biggest successes in my business. Because on those days when it's the hardest, that present season that don't feel so good, I have to stay focused and know that God got this. The promises that He made to me, they're going to be delivered. But in the meantime, I just got to be encouraged. As I say, encourage yourself. And so then that's the times that I pull that book out and I think about, because see, we serve a God of yesterday, today, and forever. What He did yesterday, He can do tomorrow. And so if I was able to achieve this in the past, guess what? I'm going to be able to achieve it in the future. And I may be able to do it bigger and better than what I did before. And so you need to have that book. You need to have people around you. You need to be able to have those lessons that you can get from somebody else, so you don't have to go through all of the bad stuff on your own. You can learn something from somebody else. You can pull strength from within yourself. I do it all the time because even being successful, there's days where it doesn't always feel as good. It's days where you have to work harder. It's days where you feel like you're missing out on something. It's going to happen no matter how efficient your systems are, no matter how efficient your processes are. You still going to have days where it just seems a little hard. And so I'm just here to encourage you and uplift you and let you know, don't focus on the present. It's going to be okay. My godmother, she always tells me everything is a season. Don't get too caught up on the ones that are not good because they're going to pass. But don't fall too far in love with the ones that are good because they're going to pass. One thing that's constant is change. And know that if it's not good today, it can be good tomorrow because we serve a God of suddenly. And He can walk in and suddenly change your circumstances. So you just have to continue to push and press. Push, pray until something happens, and press, work what you know, because faith without works is dead. But in the meantime, just know that He's got you and it's going to be okay.
That was really good.
Thank
Not
you.
that I didn't expect anything. I didn't expect anything less, mind you, but that was very good. Like it spoke straight to my heart. It did. It spoke straight to me.
Aw.
I think I'm tickled over it because I'm like, hey, make sure you talk to the girl out in the audience that needs to be encouraged. Not realizing that I really kind of think like I might have been the one that
You
needed
the
to
girl in the audience.
be in the audience. So thank you very much. Like, and I'm so serious when I say that. Like, it really did. Like, sometimes I feel for me when I realize the Lord is talking to me. I almost feel as if I can feel the words, like the words are floating in the sky and they literally land on my chest. And so your words literally landed on my chest. And so again, I appreciate your encouragement. And so, you talked about the brag book. Um, I firmly believe in having a brag book. I think that the journal, the affirmation journal, technically, in my opinion, is a good example of having
Mhm.
a brag book. Because there are some days that you need to be able to go back and to kind of look and see where you've been. Because again, very much like what you said, the like we are all the world is constantly spinning. So there's always change. The sun rises every day, but it's also going to go down. And so we have 4 seasons throughout the year. And so things are constantly growing, they die, and then recycle over and over and over again. And so, for anybody that's out there that may be going through a season, just like she said earlier, that doesn't necessarily feel good to you, not necessarily what you planned on, you had no idea, again, very much like what she said, it's a season. And honestly, we're either all coming out of a season, all
Mhm.
right, or we're going in a season. And if you've not done one or the other, just live long enough, I guarantee you,
Mhm.
you will. And so again, Yolanda, your words were just spot on point for me. So,
Oh, thank you. And that's part of the reason I wanted to be a part of this project is not only because I wanted to um, give to others, but I know that for me, being a part of this is one more thing I can add to my bookshelf. And so when I'm having those days, I will be able to pull it and I'll be able to look at what my fellow authors have written and be able to draw strength from that. Because as women, especially as women in this world, we have to be able, we carry so much on our shoulders. We have to be able to find what's going to help us get through on the days that it's hard. And most often, we get what we need from other women.
yes, God made us for each other,
Mm-hmm.
not just for ourselves. Like we really are here to encourage, to lift, to bear each other's burdens. Like there are times when I'll be able to charge through with full strength, and other times when I'm weak and I really need someone else to kind of help me move through. So I love that, love that, love that. So for anyone out there that would like to do business with Yolanda, want to make sure that you guys know where to connect with her at. So Yolanda, let everybody know one, actually two things. I think you mentioned you have an event coming up. Feel free to kind of talk a little bit about that, but definitely let people know how to connect with you.
Okay, so yes, I am part of an event. I'm part of the Comeback Champion with Shay Brown. And
Wow.
so, yes, so please connect with me on social media. You can go to my link tree, which is the Business Assistance Group. But all of my social media platforms, it's the Business Assistance Group. You can find me. My website is www.getthebusinessassistancegroup.com. Um, I have that event coming up. I believe it's June 21st to the 25th. I am also a part of this anthology or a first affirmation journal. And so we're hoping that you will get a copy of it. I feel like my soul is going to be blessed already. You can connect with me on Facebook at the Business Assistance Group. You connect with me on LinkedIn at the Business Assistance Group. And you can connect with me on Instagram as the Business Assistance Group. I also have my personal pages, and my name is Yolanda K Churchwell on Instagram and LinkedIn. You can find me there. And so I'm out there. StreamYard doesn't really allow it, but the easiest way to find me is www.get-the-bag.com. It's something about that saying they don't want you to put in print, but it's get-the-bag. And you can not only connect with me, but you can find out about all the wonderful things that are going on. So, and then I will also be at Success Women's Conference this fall. So, yes.
All right, very good, very good. Actually, we hadn't, we just literally, just, excuse me, we literally just signed, or maybe signing. Dorothy might be taking care of it right now as I speak. Actually, signing the contract for the venue and everything. But our dates, our virtual kickoff dates, are September 8th, and then the physical in-person conference will be September 9th and 10th. So
Oh, I'm so
again,
excited. Yes, I can't wait.
very good. So you got an invite and you're coming.
All right. Thank
All
you.
right,
Thank
good,
you.
good.
I am coming. I will be there in person. I am
Okay.
coming.
Oh,
Yes.
that's so cool. Very good. I'm glad.
This will be my
Oh,
third year.
okay. All right. Well, then I look forward to meeting you. If we've not already met before, I'm sure we probably at least passed each other in passing if you've come to the in person before.
No, I've
But
never been to the in person. I've just been a part since we've been in the virtual world.
virtual. Okay. All
I
right.
came to know you guys in the virtual world, and I'm ready to come back out and see and do and be. So yes.
Okay, all right. We'll see you here on the coast of Biloxi, Mississippi, come September 8th
Yes.
through the 10th. And so, for any of y'all that are out there listening, again, Success Women's Conference, September 8th through the 10th, virtual for all 3 days. If you'd like to come and attend in person, again, that will be September 9th and 10th. But real quick, before we close out, let me tell you where you can get a copy of the affirmation journal. The journal should be the journal. You'll be able to go to uncommoncourage.cc/CEO, affirm CEO. Again, uncommoncourage.ceo/affirm CEO. When you go to that page, I want you to scroll down and look for Yolanda's face. All right. And when you click on her face, you'll be able to purchase a copy of the journal directly from her. And of course, we have 30 women that have come together with their favorite affirmations, their favorite power statements, their favorite scriptures, and they're all CEOs on the move that are doing really great things. And so they're going to share with you words of wisdom that have definitely helped to encourage and to empower them in their road of success. As they, again, have aligned themselves with the purpose and the calling that they feel like God has set them on. And so we want the same for you. We want you to be able to not only connect to your destiny, but to know that you're not in it by yourself. You've had plenty of other women who've gone on before you who are facing some of the same difficulties, or who have faced the same difficulties, but have made it out to the other side. And now that they've crossed over, they're looking back in order to give a hand so that people, again, they can just help everybody, make it to be able to take their next step. So, again, my name is Tiffany Bell. Yolanda, thank you again for coming on the show today.
Thank you.
You are definitely, it's been a pleasure to talk and to connect and to just learn more about you. And then for those of you that are viewing the show, so grateful that you've taken the time to tune in. This is Tiffany Bell, your host, and I will see you soon. Take care.
Bye bye.